Now that we've chosen a niche, it's time to get a domain name for our website. The domain name will help potential readers to identify with your website. So when it comes to domain names, there are two ways you can go about it. First off, you can go for a brandable domain name, and second, you can go for a keyword-rich domain name. A keyword-stuffed domain name is simply a domain name that has your target keyword in it. So let's say, for example, you want to build a niche site around, let's say, chairs or massage chairs. So you can decide to buy a domain name that's called bestmassagechairs.com. Just from the name, you can see that we've already stuffed the keyword over there, best massage chairs. There is really no advantage of having a keyword-stuffed domain name over a brandable domain name. The era where Google used to favor websites that have keyword-stuffed domain names is over. In fact, right now, if you build a website on a keyword-stuffed domain name, you might have a difficult time ranking because Google thinks you're trying to manipulate the rankings through the keywords in the domain name. So the best option is simply to go for a brandable domain name. What do I mean by brandable domain name? Think of a brandable domain name as a name that generally covers whatever you'll be talking about on your niche site. So let's say your niche site is about baby strollers. Instead of going for a domain name such as bestbabystrollers.com, you can go for something like babystrollersauthority.com, or let's say babystrollershq.com, or something like that. So basically, we don't want to have keywords such as best or reviews in our domain name. Rather, we want a domain name that when someone hears or comes across it, they know what the website is about, but then the domain name shouldn't be keyword stuffed. And now, let's talk about the domain extension. Which domain extension should you go for? Here it really depends on the niche site that you're building. If you're building a niche site that is targeted people from all over the world, then you definitely want to go with a .com extension. But if your niche site is targeted to people in a specific geographic location, let's say you're building a niche site that is targeting people in the UK, then you want to go with the UK domain name extension, which is a .co.uk. So the same thing applies if you're building a niche site targeting people in, let's say, Germany. For the domain extension, you'll definitely want to go with a .de. Your target audience should inform you of the domain extension that you should go for. Generally, you want to go with a .com domain name, especially if you're targeting readers in the US or worldwide readers. But if you're targeting people in specific geographical locations, then definitely go for the domain extensions of their specific geographic locations. So finally, it's now time for us to generate some ideas. Let's generate some domain name ideas for our new website. Depending on the niche that you've decided to enter, you might have some ideas off the top of your head. But one thing I can assure you is that all the good domain names are already taken. So if you're thinking of something like, let's say, mattress reviews, I can assure you that domain name is not available. Someone has already registered it. If you're thinking of something like vacuum cleaner guide, somebody has already taken it. If you're finding it difficult to get domain name ideas for your new website, there are tons of free tools online that you can use to generate domain name ideas. One of the tools that I use is called Panabi. So I've just logged into panabi.com, and as you can see, you only need to enter 2 words, and then the tool is going to give you a set of ideas, and which you can later check and see whether the domain names are available. So let's say our niche site is baby strollers. So I'll just write baby strollers over here, baby strollers, and then press enter. Then Panabi is going to give me a set of names which I can register as my domain name. So for instance, I can see we have Happabee, we have Popsy, we have Baby Rider. I think I like Baby Rider. We can have a website such as babyrider.com. Soothing Sling, that also sounds nice. Then we have some other more ideas over here. Baby Stroller, I know definitely that's not available. Stroller Baby, not really sure about that. Bola, I'm not sure whether this one is available, but I still also don't like it because when someone hears of Bola, they don't have an idea of what kind of products I'm targeting or what kind of topics I'm writing about. So Strabby can work. Then you have all these other ideas that you can check. The best thing is whenever you see a name that you prefer, you can just click on the See Availability tab, and then you'll be able to know whether the domain name is available in various extensions. So just click on Bybee, and you can see all these options are available to buy, but we definitely don't want to buy these funny extensions. We only want to buy a .com extension. So let me see, do you have a .com? I don't see any .com. Let me just check .com. Oh baby, .com, here is the .com. Let's see whether we can register it. It's taking us to GoDaddy, where we can find out whether it's available, or whether it's available for registration, or whether it has already been registered before. So if it's already been registered, then of course you can't register it, but if it's available, then definitely you can buy it. So there we go. You can see Bybee.com is available, and you can see it's available for $197 plus $19.17 per year. Well, we really don't want to spend $197 on a domain name. Domain names usually go for less than $10, so we definitely don't want to go with Bybee.com. We can just look for a different domain name. Let's go back. Let's see this one, Buyastrol. Buyastrol.com. Let's click on it and find out whether it's available. Yeah, we can see they've just told us the domain name is available, Buyastrol.com. It's usually $19.17 per year, but for the first year, they'll register it for us for $5.17. But we're not going to register it on GoDaddy. GoDaddy is one of the more expensive domain name registrars online. Instead, we're going to use a different option. The option that I prefer is called NameSilo. So NameSilo usually sells domain names at very low prices. Apart from that, they give you free WhoisGuard. You'll realize that some domain name companies will charge you extra for Whois, but NameSilo gives you free WhoisGuard. If you don't know what Whois is, basically it's a way of you redacting your confidential information on the domain names that you own, such that if a person searches for the contact details of someone who's registered a domain name, then they're not going to find the real name of that person or their address or any other information. So let's look at an example. If someone wanted to know who is the owner of Niche Site Vault, all of you guys know I'm the owner of Niche Site Vault, but let's say someone new wanted to know who's the owner, or what are his contact details and things like that. They can simply go to whois.com/whois and /nichesitevault.com. When they open this website, then they're going to see all the information related to the domain name. So for instance, they can see the domain name is Niche Site Vault, the registrar is Internet Domain Service BS Corp. They can see when it was registered, when it's expiring, when it was updated, the status, the name servers, and things like that. Then here on the registrant contact, instead of my name appearing here, remember this is a public record. So instead of my name appearing here, you can see the name is written domain admin. Then instead of my organization name appearing here, you can see it's written Whois Privacy Corp. Then the address, you can see this an address in Bahamas, the phone number is in Bahamas, and things like that. So if you don't have WhoisGuard on your domain name, then your contact details are going to appear here. So let's say, John, you decide to register a domain name and you've chosen to register it at a place like GoDaddy that doesn't offer free WhoisGuard. Then in the registrant contact, your name is going to appear here. So it will be John Doe, your organization name, your street address, your phone number, email, and things like that. And of course, in these times, all of us are trying to keep our data private. So I'll recommend that you go for a domain registrant that offers free Whois, and NameSilo does that. So NameSilo offers free Whois, and the domain names are very cheap compared to GoDaddy and other domain name registrants. So we've already found our domain name. We say the domain name is Buyastrol.com. So we'll just go to NameSilo. Of course, you have to sign up if you haven't signed up. For me, since I've already signed up, I'll just log in. And after logging in, you'll be presented with an option where you can input the domain name that you want to buy and then follow the next procedures. So we just talked about buyaStroll, buyaStroll.com. Click on search. The search is there, and you can see buyaStroll.com is available at $9.95 and renewal is also $9.95. Remember, for GoDaddy the cost was $19.17. So GoDaddy is $10 expensive than NameSilo. That's why I recommend NameSilo. So we'll just say add it to our cart. Then we just go to checkout. You can see Whois Privacy is offered usually for free. Duration, of course, is 1 year. If you want to buy it for multiple years, it's fine. You can decide how long you want to buy the domain name for. So I'll just choose 1 year. And then I'll just go to checkout. And then at the checkout place, you can either decide to pay for the domain name either through credit card or PayPal or any of these other options that are available here. That is basically how you buy a domain name. So let's just recap what we've talked about. When it comes to domain name, you have two options. You can either go for a brandable domain name or a keyword-rich domain name. Generally, you want to stay away from keyword-rich domain names because, first of all, Google is frowning upon them, and secondly, they just don't appear nicely to the readers. So instead of a keyword-stuffed domain name, go for a brandable domain name. If you're having a hard time generating domain name ideas, go to panabi.com, enter 2 keywords that are related to your needs, and then you're going to get a ton of ideas of domain names that you can register. Finally, when you find a domain name that seems good for your needs, go to NameSilo, register for the domain name at only $9.95. You'll get free Whois, and from there, you're ready to roll with your new niche site. See you on the next video.